So, that Sonic movie trailer, huh? So the day has come, people. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer has officially been released, and I'm looking at it, and trust me, I've watched it a couple of times through now, and I gotta tell you, I kinda like it. And actually, I'm a lot more excited about this movie than I thought I would ever be. Why? Well, let me tell you. I'm G, and this is the Muse. So knowing me, guys, I like to look at things from a chill and kind of analytical aspect of it. And being anybody who's just a gigantic Sonic fan, I gotta tell you, looking at this, a lot of the fears that I actually said from my last video that I did a couple of months ago, which if you haven't seen that video, you should definitely check it out. It still kind of holds up, although the trailer kind of nerfed a few things that I thought were going to happen. But let's take a look at the trailer bit by bit and just kind of see, what my thoughts are going into this movie and why I'm actually so excited. So first off, it's clearly shown that this is actually an origin film now, and I believe that this is a really great move on Paramount's part, because that way it's distanced itself from any other kind of lore, so if this movie does wind up sucking, then it can just be, alright, well, that failed, we can just move on, and then the Sonic lore can continue off from where it is. So, as I mentioned before in the original video that I did, you can tell at the very beginning, so the cop from Green Hills, the Green Hills zone, actually catches Sonic with a speed gun, and you're just like, whoa, what is that? And so you get this nice little scene of Sonic like priming up and getting ready all in slow motion, and then you finally get to see officially what Sonic's face looks like. And I know there are some people out there that are just like, oh, this is nightmare fuel, this is awful, oh, my childhood. Okay, so looking at it now compared to the original movie posters that we looked at before, I gotta tell you, a lot of my fears that I had from how he was going to look and how he's going to be gnarly and nasty and gritty and dark have really kind of subsided. What I see here is, because of course they took some liberties with it, I'm going to tell you the few issues that I have with his design right here and now. And first off, I think his mouth is a problem. Yes, his teeth are kind of weird. I think that it probably would have been better going with the all one sort of tooth sort of take on it. His lips are a little bit strange, but at the same time, I'm not really creeped out by it. I actually kind of like how they changed his eyes and how they changed his nose and like his snout. It's like, at first I thought, it's like, oh, I remember in my last video I said, does he have a snout? Like, yeah, he has a snout now, but the way that it's kind of fleshed out and the way that his spikes and his spines look, he doesn't have the big swole sort of take look that they originally came with the poster from before, and I think for the most part they kind of took that into consideration. I think this was a nice compromise, and that's what I think overall the design of Sonic really is. I think it's a compromise between the Hollywood producers and, like, say, the original sort of creators. Now, it's already pretty well known that Sega has distanced themselves really from this project. They're like, yeah, we don't really have any hand in it. Like when I went to the South by Southwest panel a couple of weeks ago, and they were just like, oh yeah, we don't really have anything to say about the movie because we're not really involved with it. Okay, fair enough. But at the same time, it's like, I think that this is a nice compromise. It could be way worse, is really what I'm saying. I think that people that are saying that, oh, it's nightmare fuel, I think are just being a bit in extremes. And as we see more and more of the film, we see more trailers kind of play out and through it, who knows, this might actually grow to be something good. And I am wondering about the toys. I am still concerned about the potential merch in the toys for Sonic. That could end pretty badly, but again, we'll see where this goes. So back to the trailer. I think one of the biggest things, or the biggest takeaways I think I could really say about that is that it kind of called my fear about how everything is going to be kind of mundane and dark and gritty. Everything in this trailer that I've seen is very lush, very vibrant. There's lots of action really going on, and it looks like it's going to be fun, as opposed to the pictures and the stills that we saw before, where it just kind of looked like static green hills, town and country, okay, whatever. But this now looks like this actually could have a lot more vibrance to it. So the government wants to get involved and find out what this phenomena is that's really knocking out the power grids all over the country. And of course they enlist Dr. ? So one thing to note about the trailer that's never mentioned, is he Robotnik? Is he Eggman? Aha! So that's something that might be defined later on in the future, but let's just dive right into the main reason, one of the biggest reasons why I'm excited for this now is I'm gonna call him Eggman for the sake of this. Let's go with Eggman. Jim Carrey as Eggman. So I said before in my last video that probably the biggest thing that excites me about this movie is Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman. And in this little tiny 2.5 minute trailer, he's made me believe. he looks like Dr. Eggman. He sounds like what a Dr. Eggman, like kind of a kooky, he's got that sinister sort of look from the Sonic the Hedgehog Sat AM cartoon, but he's got kind of the comical endeavor of the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, or Dr. Robotnik. You see where I'm going with this. It's that meaty middle that with a little tiny bit of Jim Carrey vibe, and I am so hyped for that. Literally, I've said this before, and I mean by it is that he's gonna make this movie. And just seeing him in the trailer, he looks the part. He's got the mustache. Now, one thing to really note about Dr. Eggman, before I go on to the next part of this, is that if you really watch the trailer from like the beginning to end, notice, because we all know Dr. Robotnik Eggman, never really had hair. He was always known to be bald. But if you notice from like the beginning of the trailer all the way to the end, and I will get to that, once you notice from there, you notice his hair is starting to look a little bit different. It's like his mustache starts to look a little bit different. It makes you wonder just like how much of a time frame goes from beginning to the end of this movie. What's really going to happen here? But regardless, he looks great. I mean, it's like, yes, his suit's a little, again, it's a little cheesy. It looks like something out of the Matrix. But it fits with Dr. Eggman. I mean, if you really think about it. But just, again, his mannerisms, his quirks, just looks like and sounds like Dr. Eggman. I'm super hyped about that. And again, we'll get more into Dr. Eggman a little bit later. And of course the infamous scene where James Marsden, the cop, actually catches Sonic in that shed where he shines a light on him and he goes, meow, and it's just, that particular scene right there, that's where I think a lot of people are getting a lot of the feel to where, oh, this doesn't look right. Because if you look really closely at it, that one scene doesn't really do it justice. But it's really when you look at it in motion, that's when I'm just like, okay, he looks good in motion. Which I guess that's the most important part, right? Gotta go fast, that's Sonic. But again, we'll see really where they go with this. But I thought that was actually kind of cute. Yeah, and that's really where it seems to be that the humor on this seems to be a lot more friendly, a little bit more, kind of upbeat humor. Again, dispelling that fear that I had from my original predictions that it was going to be super dark and gritty and uber serious. It seems like it's going to be a lighthearted, and dare I say it, kind of self-aware. It's like the movie knows that it's going to be a cheese fest. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, we know that people are probably going to dump on this movie anyway, so let's make it as cheesy and as fun as possible can. Let's have fun with this. And to me, isn't that why we go to the movies anyway? To have fun? And I'm just like, hey, you know what? This could work. This really could work. So while he doesn't have very many lines in the trailer, I'd have to say my first impressions of Ben Schwartz's voice of Sonic, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty impressed by it. I think he's got that sort of Ryan Drummond kind of energy, but a little tiny bit of the Roger Craig Smith kind of sarcasm. And I think that's a good middle ground to really be for this iteration of Sonic. So again, this is just one trailer and you only hear a few lines, but so far again, I feel pretty good about that. But then again, knowing Ben Schwartz's work in the past, I always thought that, okay, this is a good choice. So again, we'll see where he goes with that. So the next part of the trailer that raises questions for me is that, okay, so Robotnik Eggman has the hair. He's got the electric hair from Sonic, which that raises so many questions that I'm not really going to get into here, but he's got the electric hair, and so like you see him in the lab and in the experiments, see what makes him tick. So I'm just like, where are they really going with that? Are they going to use this as some experimentation to make a new robot that can go up against Sonic? Maybe something like the cheetah from the Sonic Saturday AM? Maybe even Shadow? Possibly? I mean, I know that's probably a pipe dream at this point. I bet they're probably saving that for a potential sequel. But again, I'm just looking to see really where are they going with this. But going back into where it's like, it seems like the movie is going to be so cheesy that it's good and it's fun. I do think that one scene, the one action scene where you see Sonic toss the ring and you see the two humans kind of falling back into the ring, I'm like, okay, that's, I'm not gonna lie, that looked dumb. I'm like, okay, and that kind of brings me to my next sort of concern that I have about it, is that the trailer doesn't also really define what the cop and his wife are really, like, what's their role within the movie. My only hope is that they're not going to try to shoehorn some sort of, like, relationship where we have to hear about their past and all that kind of stuff. Like, I really hope not. And if so, I hope it's just very minuscule and they don't really have a whole lot of impact in the story, because the last thing we really need is something like that to be tacked on for this. This really should be about Sonic and Eggman. It should really be about the battle between those two, and then maybe the little buddy cop is there for comic relief, which you see in that one scene where Sonic is in the bag. So there's that little tiny bit of comic relief, and hey, that's fine. But I just hope that they don't go overboard with that. Sonic's shoes. I'm still not feeling them. I see where they're going with it. They're trying to make them look like Nikes. I kind of see where they're going with that, only without getting the actual Nike logo. I see what you did there. But it's like, again, going for that compromise. It's not bad, but I'm still not feeling it. I could take it or leave it, but I'm still not feeling it. And so the montage at the end showing several different action scenes, and you see the words that are at the top says, "Every hero needs a genesis," and I'm just like, And then the part of the trailer where I kind of lost my mind a little bit. That ending shot of Dr. Eggman. That gave me chills, man. Because the way that you see him, and then you see just that split second where he pulls his glasses, or his goggles. He pulls his goggles down, I'm just like... If Jim Carrey's looking like that at the end of the movie, I'm just like... Good job. Good show. Well done. So I'm not gonna lie. First time going through this trailer early in the morning, I'm just like... What the hell did I just watch? I don't really see where any of this is going. Until I saw that one shot of Eggman, I'm like... Okay, I need to go back and watch this again. And so after the second or third time, I start seeing more and more little bits and bits every time, like the pile of shoes in Sonic's shed. Little things like that I'm actually seeing. I'm just like, now, this has gotten me to a point where I actually am really intrigued, and I really want to see more out of it. Do I think the movie is going to be good? Probably not. It's probably going to be bad. And kind of overall, it's like, okay, it kind of seems more like the Street Fighter movie. Now, hear me out on this. The Street Fighter movie is an awful movie. I'm not going to defend and say that the Street Fighter movie is a good movie in any way, shape, or form, but you can tell it's one of those movies that during development, they kind of got self-aware to the fact that there's no way that we could seriously make this good point on point. Or maybe they didn't really have the backing or whatnot to really do that, so they're just like, okay, you know what, we're just gonna have fun with this and see where we go with it.
Quick! Change the channel!
That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with the Sonic movie so far. It's like, who knows? Maybe this might actually be legitimately good, but right now it's kind of looking like it's got that cheese fest to where it's like, you know, grab some popcorn, relax, have a good time, don't think too hard into it, and who knows? You just might like it. Or you just might hate its guts. Kind of like the Sonic fandom as a whole, and his video game history, and kind of everything there. It's kind of dead even, you know? People are loving it, people are hating it. But at the end of the day, I'm excited. Now real quick before I get into my final thought, I want to talk about the 3 new posters that unveiled. I gotta say, the first one where you actually see Sonic running down the side of the building and the laser bots are actually chasing behind him, that poster is badass. I gotta tell you, I love it. I want that poster on my wall, like, immediately. I want it now. The other 2 where he's actually, where Sonic is, you know, standing like this on the side and you see the city at a distance, it almost looks like a 90s alternative rock band or maybe even Christian band cover. That one's not bad either. The third one that I actually saw was a foreign cover where you actually see Sonic inside the ring. Now, that one looks really cool too. But that one raises another question that you don't see at all in the trailer, is that's obviously Paris in the background. And I'm just like, does Sonic go to Paris in this movie? I don't know. Well, again, that just adds a little bit more intrigue that I have to it. And so finally, my final thoughts on the Sonic trailer. So, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking right now, and I'm sure the comment section is probably already going to be ablaze with, oh, geez, just being an apologist, you're being too nice, this movie looks like it's going to be awful. Look, here's the thing. As I mentioned before, I try to look at things from a fair scope. I try to look at it calmly and analytically before making a rage reaction video on the internet, like so many people out there are doing. I like to do things different, you know? And I like to look things at a positive note. And I'm not at any point going to say that from looking at this trailer, I'm going to say that the Sonic movie is going to be good. However, what I am going to predict is it's going to be entertaining. I'm going to go see this movie day one. And I agree with Johnny Riggs, who's an awesome YouTuber, by the way. I'm gonna agree with Johnny Riggs and what he said earlier today. For everybody who's like a major fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, honestly, don't front like you're not gonna see this movie. You might not actually pay money to see it, you might not go to the movies to see it, but there's that morbid curiosity, kind of like I have. A morbid curiosity that odds are you're probably going to see this movie at some point. So, in my opinion, it's like, don't look too seriously. Maybe the other trailers that are going to roam around might make us think differently, but I gotta tell you, this trailer alone has almost 180 my thoughts and predictions on this movie. I think it's going to be fun, and in all honesty, now, I can't wait. But I gotta know, what are your thoughts about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Am I a nut job for wanting to be excited about this movie? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I'm really I'm intrigued to know what you guys are thinking about this. So, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet, and you can talk to me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at G2TheNextLevel. I gotta tell y'all, I'm excited. I mean, maybe I'm being cautiously optimistic, but I'm excited to see where this goes. It's gonna be a long 6 months. But, in any case, keep on gaming and keep being awesome. I'm G, and I'll see you on the next level.